Hi and welcome to JohnRayner.tv. This episode is part 8 of our series, How to Prepare World-Class Presentations and Public Speeches. If you're interested in the previous 7 videos, visit JohnRayner.tv, click on the videos link, and those 7 videos relating to this series are all within that link. But to continue, in the last video we talked about the top box, HK, or housekeeping, but in this particular episode we're going to look at the next box down. I've used CO as an acronym. It simply means creative opening. Why are we doing that? Well, we said in the last video that the housekeeping is purely putting the key in the ignition. We haven't even started to warm the engine or the audience yet. But remember, we said in the housekeeping, it's our responsibility to tone everything down right at the start of your public speech or your presentation in order to try and bring as many people in your audience onto the same page as you before you get into first gear. And a way that we can do that to try and gain people's attention is by using a creative opening, something that's dynamic, something that's creative, something that's attractive, something that's engaging, something that's memorable. And why would we do that? Well, I've talked in different videos on other topics about one of the communication challenges is that whilst we as communicators can speak using the English language about 120 to 130 words per minute, the challenge we have is the audience sitting before us or standing before us can think, they have the capacity to be thinking about 220 to 250 words a minute. In other words, our audience can be thinking about double the thoughts and the words that we're actually sharing. So it's our responsibility to use a creative opening or a dynamic opening to get our audience's attention. And what's the key word with a creative opening? It must be relevant. This is not an icebreaker. This is not where you download a joke from Google and think that by making people laugh, that's an icebreaker. It's nothing to do with that. It must be relevant to your topic, your audience, and most importantly, your focus message. What are some ideas for a creative opening? Obviously, you can use analogies, you can use stories, you can use a video clip, you can use statistics, you can use analogies, you can use a case study. There are multiple ideas. You can use a photo, an image. There are multiple ideas. One that comes to mind right now is just a simple statistic. I was working with a major construction company in Asia Pacific, and the building manager for Australia wanted to give a presentation to his team of dozens and dozens of people regarding the importance of doing the right job and the best job and exceeding expectations for the client, which was a government client building part of a hospital or an extension on a hospital. And instead of that particular building manager and building leader and building director going into his audience and then just getting straight into fifth gear and getting into the data and the facts and the everything else that sometimes put people to sleep, he simply started with a housekeeping, controlling the environment, controlling the ambience, and then using a whiteboard or flip chart, he simply wrote $12 billion. $12 billion. That was it. It didn't need to be overly creative or overly dynamic. He wrote the number $12 billion and he said, I want you to keep this number in mind and throughout my conversation. And the reason for that is because if and when that project was successful, the actual government of that nation had a $12 billion budget to extend and to refurbish and to build other hospitals, hence why he started with the 12 billion. It was interesting because 2 or 3 days later, having done some questioning and evaluation post the presentation, the main thing that stuck in the majority of people's minds was not the data, was not the facts, the figures, the graphs, the charts. What stuck in people's minds is if we do a great job, there's $12 billion on the table that we can take a piece of that pie by doing a great job. Hope this helps. See you on the next episode of JohnRayner.tv.